Sometimes we say it and we're kind of kidding. As long as Iowa gets one score, they're good to go. They'll just win the game. That's all they need. Well, on this Saturday in Iowa City, no exaggeration, that was the fact. Iowa 22, Rutgers 0. Welcome to the Voice of College Football. Appreciate you being here. Best discussion, debate, and analysis based on your participation. All right, Hawkeyes move a step closer to a Big Ten Western Division championship based on what they accomplished on the field on this Saturday, and for a second consecutive week, what everyone else did not accomplish, because 2 weeks ago, there was a four-way tie for first place in the Big Ten West at 3-2. Iowa's taking care of business. Others are not. Let's get to this game, though. Right out of the gate, despite missing a field goal and not getting on the scoreboard in the first drive, Iowa showed that this would be a different game. Rutgers is a good football team. Let's settle that score right now. Are they great, prolific? Do they belong in the college football play? No, they're not great, prolific, probably not anything close to a top 25 team, but they're a good, sound, solid, good football team, and we've seen it countless times during this season in the Big Ten. Really, nobody has abused them. This is not the Rutgers of old. They're a good running team on offense, good defensive team. Came into this game respected by Vegas as a 1-point road dog. So for Iowa to accomplish what it did on offense on this day against anybody would have been something, would have been notable for sure. But to do it against this Rutgers defense, this was something. So we will outline what the Hawkeyes accomplished on offense. And it started with the very first drive. And again, even though the reliable Drew Stevens missed a 47-yard field goal, Iowa going 10 plays for 45 yards against this defense, a top 10 defense in the nation statistically, and legitimately a top 25 to 30 defense in the nation. That's significant. Iowa gets the football back. Desmond Igbinosun had a batted pass, and the reason I noted that, number one, I love batted passes at the line when rushers are able to get the hands up, time the football, time the throw, and bat it away. But also because in this kind of game, that could have been significant because the ball fluttered up in the air for a couple seconds where there was an opportunity for Rutgers to possibly pick it off and take it in for a touchdown, because for a long time it looked like one score might do it. We had no score at halftime, in fact. But that was not the case. Similarly, once Iowa punted the football and Rutgers muffed it, but jumped on it, but it was scurrying across the field for a while there once it was muffed by the Rutgers return man. And again, that could be key. Any one little mistake, as it appeared to be in this game before the Scarlet Knights' back broke, could have been decisive. All right, Rutgers had a 3rd and 1 at midfield. They had moved the football a little bit, as they did to a certain extent in the first half. In the first half, they were moving between the 30s. Second half, forget it. Iowa clamped down. But at this point in the ball game, no score. Midfield, 3rd and 1, key situation, false start. And could that have been the Iowa crowd? Probably. We've got to give a kudos to the Iowa home field advantage there. Gavin Wimsatt on the next possession goes to Ian Strong for 30 yards. That actually was after the false start. 3rd and 6, 30 yards as Ian Strong made a really fine play on the football. And Rutgers was obviously targeting Jamari Harris. And on this particular play, Harris had good coverage. Strong was just better. And then he ripped the ball away from him and went 30 yards. But Rutgers, as would be the case in the first half, over and over again, could not convert. Iowa had a 4th and 1 in midfield. It looked as though they would think about going for it. Actually called a timeout. They ended up punting. 3rd and 6. Rutgers back with the football. Moving the ball a little bit once again. Jamari Harris this time should have been called for the pass interference, in my opinion. Bad no call by the officials on that one. Rutgers had a sack that stopped Iowa on the next position with the Hawkeyes moving, but there was a defensive hold after Rutgers picked up the sack that thwarted the drive. So give Iowa the first down. We didn't get to see the play downfield, so I don't know if that was a good call or a bad call, but the ball was never thrown because Deacon Hill was sacked. So there was a hold downfield on one of the wideouts. Iowa gets the automatic first down. They kick the field goal to go up 3-0. And at that point, I thought, wow, that could be it. 3-0 at half. Final Iowa drive of the first half. And even though it ended with an interception and a bad throw and a bad decision by Deacon Hill, I thought this was significant. Iowa was not close to the goal line. It wasn't like they were given good field position by the punt situation or the flipping of the field. They had to drive and make a decision to drive and be aggressive and go downfield, and they did. They went 62 yards in 8 plays. Deacon Hill completed passes of 21, 13, 11, 11, and 6 yards. But Max Melton jumped the route to pick off the pass, thwart the drive, and keep it at 3-0 at halftime. Coming out in the second half, Rutgers gets another drive going. They get to midfield, 4th and 1. Another false start. Their 5th pre-snap penalty. Again, a lot of that has to be credited to the Iowa faithful. So they punt, and then the next time they get the football on a 3rd and 1, Sebastian Castro does a heck of a job at just coming in from the outside, unblocked, tracking down the play, and causing the tackle for loss. Iowa could have went for a big play. They did go for a big play. Caleb Brown had a step on his guy, but Deacon Hill missed him. But Caleb Brown would start to figure into this passing game. It's good to see them get him involved. All right, next series, huge play, well-designed play in terms of the wide receiver motion and the patterns that freed up the backup tight end, Zach Ortworth, for 54 yards. That led to an Iowa field goal that made it 6-0. Next Iowa series, they could have broken the thing open, and meaning Iowa defensive series, but Joe Evans came off the edge, had a strip sack, but Gavin Wimsatt got it back to maintain possession for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights at 6-0. Iowa then went 9 plays for 54 yards. And again, I'm impressed by these drives. I'm going to run them down here in just a second. They score the touchdown. They go for the 2-point conversion. Don't get it on the instant replay review. Caleb Brown shin down just shy of the end zone, 12-0. Rutgers on a 3rd and 7. Once again, crowd noise factoring in. 3rd and 7. Snap goes right by Wimsatt. He didn't call for the ball. Center snapped it. They lost 13 yards on the play. Had to punt it out to the 50-yard line. So once again, Iowa's in great field position, playing the field position game. Quinn Schulte picked off a pass, so once they exchange possessions, Rutgers gets the stop there at 12-0. And actually, they did not get the complete stop. Iowa kicked the field goal to make it 15-0. And then Rutgers pinned down in its own end, desperate at this point. They're down by 2 scores. And in this type of game, against this defense and special teams, game over. But in most college football venues, in most situations, you're down 15 with 7 minutes left, and it's still a game. Quinn Schulte, playing center field, just waited for a Gavin Wimsatt overthrow, picks it off, runs it all the way down inside the 10-yard line. Iowa caps off the scoring with a touchdown run to make it 22-0. All right, so Iowa-Rutgers in a defensive battle. Iowa proved to be the much better team in the second half. Listen to these numbers. The numbers on the defensive side you should be used to. Iowa held Rutgers to 2 for 11 on 3rd down. 23 carries for Rutgers, 34 yards. Okay, let's take out the sack yardage and the quarterback yardage there. 18 carries for 54 yards, so 3 yards per carry is a really good effort by the Iowa defense, but not phenomenal. 127 total yards. There you go. 38 minutes to 22 in time of possession. So that's Iowa's game as well. But what is impressive here, folks? Iowa's offense. 402 yards of total offense. I'm going to have to go game by game by game by game. And really, I'm not going to go game by game by game by game because I know the last 10 or 15 games, there's no way they've had 400 yards of total offense, especially against a good defense in a conference game. Maybe they have against Central Michigan this year or somebody. I don't even think they have in those games. 402 yards of total offense. Deacon Hill, 20 of 31. This is an Iowa quarterback here, 223 yards. The drives themselves were sustained. 10 plays, 45 yards. 6 plays, 31 yards. 10 plays, 37 yards. 8 plays, 62 yards. 5 plays, 54 yards. To be fair and to be accurate, those weren't consecutive. Those were their best drives on the day. But still, you do not see this out of Iowa, which has had the worst offense in college football. The worst. Not an argument, the worst. 5-2 on the season in the Big Ten. That's what matters, 8-2 overall. Illinois is next, at home at Nebraska as well for the Hawkeyes to win the Big Ten West. Well, they've got a 2-game lead against Nebraska, who blows another one at home against Maryland. Lost last week to Michigan State. Wisconsin, oh my word. They had 3 points with 11 seconds left against Northwestern. So Wisconsin playing horrible football. They're 3-4. Northwestern jumps up to 3-4. But of course, Iowa's got the head-to-head against Wisconsin and Northwestern. Minnesota gets blasted by Purdue. Gives up 49 points in that game. Maybe they gave up 50. It was 49 with 4 minutes left. Iowa's the best team in the division. It's not even close. They are headed to a Big Ten championship game. And guess what? You may not like to hear this. You may not agree with it. But they have a chance in the Big Ten championship game. Your thoughts about the Hawkeyes or the Scarlet Knights? Rutgers is an improved team at 6-4. No doubt. They are no longer a patsy in this conference and getting blown out by everybody by 40 and 50 points. They're a capable football team. They've got a long way to go to be competitive. This was the game for 4th place in the Big Ten, basically. The team that won this game would show that they are the 4th best team in the conference. All right, folks, lock it in here at the Voice of College Football. We will see you soon. And keep in mind, Hawkeye fans, Tuesdays, 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central, Hawkeyes Live with Corey Brada from the Hawkeye at the Storm, right here at the Voice of College Football.